Welcome back to Tipsy Whiskey Shenanigans. I'm Steven, and tonight, whenever the heck you're watching this, we are getting into my top 5 bourbons so far. As of right now, which, if we're going to be completely honest, it changes all the freaking time, so this is going to be a reoccurring list, but my current top 5 favorite whiskeys. Before we do that, please do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. That helps us out a ton, and we appreciate your support so much. And let's get into that video. So, top 5 whiskeys. You get asked all the time, usually not by whiskey people, or at least for me, it's not normally whiskey people. It's like random people I meet or I know, I have conversations with, and they ask me all the time, like, hey, what's your favorite whiskey? Which I usually respond, wow, that's a loaded question. It's so dependent on like what you've been drinking, what are you into at the moment, that's just such a loaded question. So I'm going to start making, maybe a quarter, maybe, twice a year type videos where I kind of break down what are my current 5 favorites. What are the 5 whiskeys I have that I'm drinking more often than not compared to the rest? Because, the answer to that could always be like, oh, well, 1920 maybe because, that's a good value. Although, honestly, with the new bottle, I'm kind of iffy about that statement. Or Rare Breed. Rare Breed's pretty consistent. Or like maybe, my one hitter, the freaking Master's Keep 17-year-old bottle of Bond. But like, honestly, you don't drink those all the time, especially the hitters, because, you can't really drink a $200 bottle all the time. So, what are my current 5 favorites? What have I been drinking more often than not in the last, I was sober for about 2-3 months there. So, like, in the last month or so, what have I really been drinking? And those are none other than the 5 you're about to see. And to kick it off, we're going to get into a great, fantastic bourbon that I love a lot. John J. Bowman Single Barrel. This is like the upgraded version of Blanton's. Everyone loves Blanton's. This is Blanton's with an extra gold star. This is a little bit better version, a little bit darker, has a little bit more like coffee and chocolate in it. This is, if Blanton's was actually what Blanton's, or this is what Blanton's would be if it was actually what people said it was. Like people uptalk that. This is what that should be. This is fantastic. It's basically Buffalo Trace juice that's redistilled, and it's fantastic. And for most people, this might be a little bit harder to get, but for me, I know a store that almost always has these on the shelf. So I just drive down there, $50, get one of these, and it's a big, big win. But yeah, Buffalo Trace juice with a little bit extra like dark chocolate and coffee type vibes going on with it. Fantastic. And this is my, what would I say? Like kind of like daily sipper almost. This is like my bougie daily sipper in a way. I've been drinking this a lot more than I normally would, but this has been a huge, huge win for me. And then coming up next, a weird one for me. One that I thought I didn't like this brand. I tried one of their offerings previously and I was like, nope, that ain't for me. That is not good at all. Saw this on the shelf for like $45 at Costco, so I picked it up thinking, why the heck not? It's worth the risk. And that is Wilderness Trail Small Batch. So this is the Cash Strength 2020 Family Reserve. I really, really like this. This stuff is fantastic. It's 4-year-old, just great bourbon. It's a super solid, typical, like I get a huge like almond cherry note out of it. And I absolutely love this stuff. For $45, 55.61% ABV, this stuff is fantastic. And it's shed a whole new light on Wilderness Trail. So I'm going to be looking into them a lot more moving forward. So I've been crushing that bottle. And then coming up next, halfway through this list, we're going to transition, no longer bourbon, we're going to get into a rye. I only have one rye on this list because I've only really been crushing one rye since it's summer. And rye's a little bit, it's a little bit too much right now. But I really like this one a lot. So this has been like my go-to rye all the same. And that is Sagamore Spirit's Cash Strength Rye. This has shown up on a lot of lists, and I absolutely love this bottle. These are all cask strength offerings. I know they do a blend of MGP ryes at Sagamore where they do the 95.5 rye, and then I think it's like a 51.49, so it's like a high rye, low rye recipe blend. I don't know what the like real ratios of that blend are, but whatever they do, they make some of the best ryes out there, because Sagamore Spirits is definitely my favorite rye producer at the moment. And whatever they do, it's fantastic. And the cask strength, well, it's just the fantastic Sagamore Spirits recipe, but turned up to 11, which I'm a slut for proof. It is what it is. So I've been drinking that one a lot. Surprisingly, with it being 115 out here, I've still been drinking it. I mean, inside, obviously, not outside. But, that has been killing it since I've been back. And then, coming up next, going back to bourbon, but we're going into finished whiskeys this time. An offering I picked up recently, this Starlight Bourbon Finish in Sherry Barrel. So I've heard a lot of amazing stuff about Starlight. Have yet to been able to pick up any of these until I got this one. This is a seal box pick. This one is finished in sherry, and it's fantastic. Sherry is probably my favorite finish on whiskeys of all time. I don't know what it is about it. I think it's like the dark fruits that you get out of that, but the Starlight finished in sherry is fantastic. It is 110.2 proof, 4-year-old finished in sherry whiskey from Starlight. Fantastic bourbon that brings a huge dark fruit note on it that is fantastic. This stuff is good. I know. I keep on saying fantastic. But it is truly good. And it kind of blew my mind away. I was expecting it to be good because I've heard so many good things about it. But it was significantly better than I even anticipated. And then coming up last but not least, a new one for me. I picked this up like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. 3-Chord Strange Collaboration. So, I've had very bad luck with cab finished bourbon. Usually it gets super duper drying, but there's something about this cab finished 3-Chord that is fantastic. This is a cab finished 3-Chord whiskey that is 99 proof, and it's amazing, and it's great to drink during the summer so far. This has been a great crushable whiskey to drink during the summer for me, because it brings in that finish from the cab that's not too drying, surprisingly, because all the other cab stuff I've had has been super drying, but this, it's not drying, and it just brings in a really nice like red fruit brightness to kind of like a darker, nuttier bourbon. That's fantastic. Huge vanilla, red fruits. This has been amazing sipper. And, I don't drink too much anymore. Or at least I'm kind of working on that a little bit. We're working on it. But I've had this for a week, and I've already drank, about an eighth of it, which me having this much whiskey around me, I usually don't do that. I've had whiskeys that I've had for over a year with more whiskey inside of them, just because they kind of, you put them on the shelf and you forget about them a little bit and you don't remember to come back. But this, I keep on picking up. So super impressed with this one. And that's what I've been drinking since. I know this kind of only documents what have I been drinking in the last month or two, because I took a few months off from drinking. But since I've been back, those have been the ones I've been going to and I've been absolutely loving. This is going to be the first one I do. I'm thinking maybe I'll do this quarterly, just because I know this list is going to change so much. But these are my current go-to 5 whiskeys, primarily bourbons, that I have in my collection that I absolutely love. What are your current go-to favorites? What have you really been gravitating towards recently? I know we're kind of in the transition of going into the summer months, so I'm sure a lot of these are going to change, like that Sagamore Spirits or all that cask strength stuff I've been sipping on. I think that's going to kind of go away because we're starting to get into that 110, 115s, and those have been kind of sitting on the shelf a little bit more, but only time will tell. So yeah, I'm planning on doing this here in the future, so please leave me a comment. Let me know what your go-to favorites are, and let me know if you have better suggestions of go-tos that you've been sipping on recently that you think I should be sipping on. put that in the comments down below. I would love to see what you have to say about that. That's a wrap for this video though. Please do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought about this video. Also check out the Instagram, Facebook, and the Patreon. But that's a wrap for this video, folks. Cheers, y'all. We'll see you later.